In Part 5, we saw the beginnings of the idolatry of the naturalists. Let us now conclude our examination of the works of Father Cahill. Compare this to the modern Catholic progressive evolutionists, sometimes oddly calling themselves progressive creationists, who replace the Word of God and substitute the processes of nature. The processes of nature will certainly have the same power in every place, in every age. This is a reminder that the idolizing of nature does not require the building of an altar for an idol, but may, in one of its many forms, consist simply in the inversion of power that should be rightly attributed to God, but is instead given to the processes of nature. Let us not bind the author of nature to the laws of nature. This may sound foreign to many Catholics today. However, this simply echoes the trust in God and His power over the cosmos that Catholics have held for millennia. We turn briefly to the words of Dom Guéranger to equip the Catholic to see through the errors of the evolutionists and their ilk, who will not permit even the discussion of the possibility of a global flood or any other supernatural events in the Catholic creation narrative, simply because these phenomena are not observed today. Dom Guéranger writes in commenting on the mystery of transubstantiation, "The creator of space and time is not bound to observe their laws, and he has proved his divine independence in this mystery." This illuminating quote focuses on the death of Jesus Christ, giving us life in the soul through the Eucharist. Witness now the complete naturalistic inversion of this, following the example of uniformitarianism from the Big Bang philosophy promoter, astrophysicist Lawrence Krauss.
Every atom in your body came from a star that exploded. And the atoms in your left hand probably came from a different star than your right hand. It really is the most poetic thing I know about physics. You are all stardust. You couldn't be here if stars hadn't exploded, because the elements, the carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, iron, all the things that matter for evolution weren't created at the beginning of time. They're created in the nuclear furnaces of stars, and the only way they can get into your body is if the stars were kind enough to explode. So forget Jesus. The stars died so that you could be here today. Okay? And anyway.
This world-renowned astrophysicist displays the blasphemous inversion, where there is not just a replacement of the stars for God, there is in fact a complete sacrificial inversion, where the stars are replacing the God-man on Calvary. Do you want to guard against these naturalist tendencies that promote godlessness in the world and lukewarmness in Catholics? One must simply hold fast to the Church's interpretation of sacred history for over 1,900 years. Consider the following supernatural acts. 1. The parting of the Red Sea. 2. The changing of a rod into a serpent by Moses. 3. The genuflection of the mule to Saint Anthony holding the Eucharist. Why are these three supernatural events, commanded by the Word of God, easily believed by so many Catholics, when the Catholic doctrine of the creation of the world in 6 literal days must be explained away by Catholic structures and apostolates that are permeated by every naturalist philosophic idea? What can the Catholics of today do when the modern intellect stubbornly holds to the various theistic evolutionary tendencies? Hold fast to Catholic authors such as Father Cahill, who remind the Catholic of goodwill that the Word of God will certainly have the same power in every place, in every age.